let me ask you something. Do you ever go to stand up from a chair and your knees just complain about it? A little creak, a little ache. Maybe you've started avoiding low chairs. Maybe you ask someone else to grab something off the floor for you because bending down and getting back up just isn't worth the risk anymore. If that's you, I want to say this clearly, right at the start. It is not because you're getting too old for exercise. It's because the way most people are taught to train their legs, deep squats, lunges, all of that can actually work against aging joints instead of for them. Today, I'm going to show you a handful of simple, safe moves that build the exact same leg strength as a squat. No knee pain, no getting down on the floor, no fear of losing your balance halfway through. Just real, useful strength built the smart way. Stick with me and let's get into it. Before we get into the exercises, I want to spend just a couple of minutes on why this matters so much, because I think once you understand what's actually happening in your body, the rest of this video will make a lot more sense. Here's the first thing to know. Starting somewhere around your 30s and 40s and speeding up after 60, most people naturally begin to lose muscle mass. This is just a normal part of aging. It happens to almost everyone to some degree. Doctors sometimes use the word sarcopenia for this, but you really don't need to remember that term. What matters is this: your legs are usually one of the very first places this muscle loss shows up, and your legs are the thing keeping you upright. They're what gets you out of a chair, up a flight of stairs, in and out of a car, and steady on your feet when you're walking on uneven ground. The National Institute on Aging, the CDC, and groups like the Mayo Clinic and the NHS have all said, consistently and for years, that strength training, and leg strength in particular, is one of the single best things an older adult can do for their long-term health. Not just to stay fit in some general sense, to stay independent, to keep doing your own grocery shopping, to keep climbing your own stairs without holding your breath halfway up, to keep getting down on the floor to play with a grandchild, and, just as important, to get back up again without needing a hand. So, leg strength isn't optional. It's foundational. It affects nearly everything else about how independently you can live your life. Now, here's the problem with traditional squats specifically, especially the deep kind you might remember from a gym class decades ago. A deep squat puts a lot of direct pressure through the knee joint. At the same time, it asks your balance system to manage several things at once, shifting your weight backward, lowering your hips, holding that low position, and then pushing back up, all while staying centered over your feet. For a younger person with healthy joints and good balance reflexes, that's manageable. But for a lot of us past 65, especially if you're dealing with arthritis, a knee replacement, osteoporosis, or just some general balance concerns, the combination of joint pressure and balance demand is genuinely risky. You can strain a muscle. You can aggravate a joint that was already cranky. Worst of all, you can lose your balance entirely, which is the single biggest cause of serious injury in older adults, far more dangerous, frankly, than anything related to muscle soreness. And here's the part that worries me most. When something hurts or feels scary during exercise, the natural response is to just stop exercising altogether. That feels like the safe choice in the moment. But it actually backfires, because then the muscle loss we talked about earlier just keeps progressing unchecked. So the goal today is not to scare you away from leg exercise. It's the complete opposite. I want you to keep building leg strength just through movements your joints will actually thank you for instead of punish you for. Every single exercise I'm about to show you targets the same major muscle groups. A squat does your quadriceps in the front of your thigh, your glutes in your backside, and your hamstrings along the back of your leg. Same muscles, same real-world benefit, dramatically less risk, and one more encouraging thing before we dive in. Both the Mayo Clinic and the NHS recommend that older adults aim for strength training, at least 2 days a week. That's it. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need fancy resistance bands or dumbbells, although you can add light ones later if you want. All you really need is a sturdy chair, maybe a nearby wall, and about 10 to 15 minutes a few times a week. That is genuinely enough to make a real, noticeable difference in how steady and capable you feel. All right, let's get into the actual moves. I'm going to walk you through 5 exercises today. You don't have to do all 5 in one sitting, especially when you're just starting out. Even picking 1 or 2 and doing them consistently will help. We'll build from there. Before we begin, go ahead and grab a sturdy chair, something without wheels, something that won't slide or tip if you lean your weight onto it. If you can, set it up near a wall or have a wall or countertop nearby for a couple of the standing moves. That extra support is there for your confidence as much as your safety, and there is absolutely no shame in using it. One important note before we start moving: if at any point you feel sharp pain, not tired muscles, but actual sharp or shooting pain, stop right away. Tired, slightly burning muscles are a completely normal part of strength training. Pain is different. Pain is your body's stop sign, and you should always respect it. Exercise 1. The sit-to-stand. This first move is, in many ways, the best squat replacement that exists because, in a sense, it is a squat. It's just a squat done safely, using your chair to guide and limit the movement. Here's how to do it, step by step. Step 1. Sit toward the front edge of your chair, not all the way back. Your feet should be flat on the floor, about hip-width apart. Step 2. Lean your chest slightly forward, almost like you're starting a small, polite bow. This shifts your weight over your feet, which makes standing up much easier and far more stable. Step 3. Push through your heels, not your toes, and stand up slowly. If you need help, place your hands on your thighs or on the arms of the chair and use them to assist. Again, there is no shame in this at all. It's smart, it's safe, and it still builds real strength. Pause, demonstrate standing up slowly from the chair. Step 4. Once you're fully standing, pause for 1 full second. Stand tall, shoulders back, and take a breath. Step 5. Now slowly lower yourself back down with control. Don't just drop or plop into the seat. Imagine you're trying to land as gently and quietly as possible. That's 1. Complete repetition. To start, aim for 5 to 8 reps in a row. The real beauty of this exercise is that the chair itself limits how low you go. You are never put into that deep, risky squat position that puts so much strain on aging knees. Your joints stay safe throughout the whole movement, and yet you're still building serious, functional strength in your thighs and glutes, the exact muscles that get you up off the toilet, out of your car, and out of a low chair at a restaurant. As this gets easier over the coming weeks, you have a couple of simple ways to progress. You can try a slightly lower chair, which increases the range of motion, or you can try doing the movement without using your hands at all, relying purely on your leg muscles. There's no rush to get there. Progress whenever your body tells you it's ready, not before. Exercise 2, wall sits, the gentle version. This next one is wonderful, because there's zero impact on your joints, and you, and only you, control exactly how far down you go. You're always fully in charge of the intensity. Step 1. Stand with your back flat against a wall, feet about shoulder width apart. Then walk your feet forward just a little bit, about 6 inches or so, away from the wall. Step 2. Slowly slide your back down the wall, just a small amount. I want to be really clear here. We are not talking about sliding down into a deep position like you might see in a fitness magazine. Even sliding down a few inches is plenty when you're getting started. This is not a competition to see how low you can go. Pause, demonstrate sliding down a small, controlled amount. Step 3. Hold that position for about 5 to 10 seconds. Breathe normally the whole time. Don't hold your breath, even for a few seconds. We'll talk more about why that matters a little later. Step 4. Slowly slide back up to standing. Repeat this 3 to 5 times, resting between each one if you need to. This move primarily works your quadriceps, the large muscle group on the front of your thigh, which does an enormous amount of work every time you stand up, climb stairs, or simply hold yourself upright. And because your back stays supported by the wall the entire time, there's essentially no balance challenge at all, which makes this one a great option if you're feeling a little less steady on a given day. Exercise 3, seated leg extensions. This third exercise is done entirely from your chair, which makes it a wonderful option on days when your knees feel a bit more sensitive, or honestly, on any day you just prefer something gentler. Step 1. Sit up tall in your chair, with both feet flat on the floor in front of you. Step 2. Slowly straighten one leg out in front of you, lifting it up until it's as straight as you can comfortably make it. There's no need to force it perfectly straight if that's uncomfortable. Comfortable and controlled is what matters here. Pause. Demonstrate one leg slowly extending outward. Step 3. Hold that extended position for 2 to 3 seconds. Step 4. Slowly lower your leg back down to the floor with control rather than letting it drop. Do this 8 to 10 times on one leg and then switch over and repeat on the other side. This exercise targets your quad muscle directly, the very same muscle group a squat works hardest, but with absolutely zero impact and zero balance demand. If you're recovering from a knee issue, or if standing exercises simply feel like too much on a particular day, this is a fantastic substitute that still keeps your legs getting stronger. Exercise 4. Standing marches with support. Now we're going to shift toward the muscles that help you actually walk and climb stairs day to day. Your hip flexors and your glutes, while also very gently and safely training your balance. Step 1. Stand directly behind your chair or beside a wall or sturdy counter and hold on lightly with one or both hands for support. Step 2. Slowly lift one knee upward toward your waist, almost like you're marching very slowly in place. The key word here is slowly. There's no rush. Pause. Demonstrate lifting one knee slowly upward. Step 3. Lower that leg back down with control rather than letting it just fall. Step 4. Repeat the same movement on your other leg. Aim for 5 to 8 slow lifts on each leg. I want to emphasize again that this is not about speed at all. Slow, controlled movement is what actually builds both strength and stability over time. If at any point you feel even slightly wobbly, simply hold the chair with both hands instead of one. There is absolutely no rule anywhere that says you have to let go to make it count. Exercise 5. Heel raises. This is our 5th and final exercise, and it works your calf muscles, which matter far more than most people realize. Strong calves play a big role in everyday balance and in walking with confidence, especially on uneven sidewalks or grass. Step 1. Stand behind your chair, holding on for support just like before. Step 2. Slowly rise up onto your tiptoes, lifting your heels off the ground. Pause. Demonstrate rising slowly onto the toes. Step 3. Hold that raised position for 1 full second at the top. Step 4. Slowly lower your heels back down to the floor with control. Repeat this 10 times. And that's all 5 exercises. Every single one of them works the same major muscle groups a traditional squat would target. Your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings, and now your calves too, but each one is built specifically around control, support, and joint safety rather than raw, unguided effort. How often should you do these? A good target is 2 to 3 sessions a week, with at least 1 rest day in between to let your muscles properly recover and rebuild. You absolutely do not need to do all 5 exercises every single session. Some days, it might just be sit-to stands and heel raises. Other days, you might add in the wall sits and the marches as well. Listen to how your body feels and aim for steady consistency rather than intensity. Here's something I think is really important to understand about this kind of training. Progress isn't really about cramming in more and more repetitions as fast as possible. Real progress here looks like doing the same number of reps with better control, less wobbling, and a little more confidence each week. That kind of progress matters just as much as the numbers, even when the numbers themselves don't change much from week to week. Now let's talk through a few common mistakes I see people make with this kind of routine, so that you can sidestep every single one of them. Mistake number 1. Rushing the movement. Moving quickly through these exercises doesn't build more strength. It actually tends to build less, because your muscles do less of the work and momentum does more of it. On top of that, rushing significantly raises your risk of losing your balance partway through a movement. Slow and controlled every single time with every single exercise. If you ever notice yourself rushing through a rep, take that as a signal to make the exercise a little easier, not as a reason to push through faster. Mistake number 2. Holding your breath. A surprising number of people unconsciously hold their breath during the effort part of a movement, like standing up or rising onto your toes. This can cause a temporary spike in blood pressure that's completely unnecessary. Try to breathe out as you push up or stand and breathe in as you slowly lower back down. It sounds small, but it makes a real difference in how the exercise feels. Mistake number 3, skipping the warm-up entirely. Even just a couple of minutes of easy walking around the room or gently marching in place before you begin helps get blood flowing into your muscles before you ask them to work harder. Cold, unwarmed muscles are simply more prone to strain than muscles that have had a minute or two to wake up first. Mistake number 4, pushing through real pain. I touched on this earlier, but it's worth repeating because honestly, it might be the single most important mistake to avoid. Muscle fatigue, that warm, slightly burning, tired feeling in your thighs, is completely normal and is actually a sign that the exercise is working. Sharp pain, joint pain, or any pain that lingers well after you've stopped is not normal at all. That kind of pain is your body clearly telling you to ease off, or to stop the exercise entirely and check in with a professional. Mistake number 5, comparing yourself to your younger self or to someone else entirely. This is not a competition, and it was never meant to be one. Some days will feel stronger than others, and that is completely normal and expected. The real goal here is steady, sustainable progress for your body as it is right now, not trying to match what you could do at 40, and definitely not trying to match your neighbor, your sibling, or anyone else. Mistake number 6, doing it once or twice and then giving up. Strength simply doesn't build in a single day, and honestly, it usually doesn't build in a single week either. Give this routine a genuine, honest try. For just 6 weeks of consistent effort before deciding whether or not it's actually working for you. Most people notice real, tangible differences within that time frame, getting in and out of chairs more easily, feeling steadier on stairs, or simply feeling more confident on their feet in general. Okay, let's bring everything we covered together into a quick recap. Traditional deep squats can be genuinely hard on aging knees, and they can carry real balance risks for a lot of people past 65. But that does not mean you have to give up on building leg strength, not even close. We walked through 5 exercises today: the sit-to-stand, the gentle wall sit, seated leg extensions, standing marches, and heel raises. All 5 of these target the very same muscle groups a traditional squat would: your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings, and your calves, but they accomplish that with far more support, far more control, and dramatically less risk to your joints and your balance. Start small, aim for 2 or 3 sessions a week. Use your chair or a nearby wall for support without a shred of guilt about it. Leaning on support during these moves is smart, sound training, not weakness of any kind. And please give yourself a genuine few weeks before you judge whether this is making a difference. Real change here tends to show up gradually, not overnight. If this video helped you today, do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. It really does help this content reach more people in our community who could use it. And if you'd like more videos like this one, simple, safe, no-frills exercise guidance built specifically for our age group, go ahead and subscribe. I've got plenty more of these coming your way. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.